So in this video, what we're going to do is we're going to look at how to create a simple cave game, like a text game, but we're going to organize it in a way and where we can actually convert that and use the code that we have to any kind of game, to tell you the truth. So the first thing we need to do when we're making our game is to come up with our map. And what I did here, as you can see here, I've come up with this idea that I'll have these 5 caves or 4 caves or as many caves as I want. And I named this cave A, cave B, cave C, and cave D. And each cave has a northeast, south, and west corridor. And each corridor can either lead to nowhere, meaning it's locked, or it can lead to another cave. Or it can lead to some other place. For right now, I'm just having them lead to a cave. So if the person is in cave A and they push up north, they go north, then they end up through the west end of this cave. And so when they're in cave B, if they hit northwest, they'll go right back to this cave. And as you can see, based on these lines, that's the connection that I'm looking for. If they were in cave D, they can get all the way back to cave A. And with this setup, I can actually make it to where you can't go backwards, and maybe I'll do that later on. The second thing I did here is I laid out each cave and the entrances and the exits. Like if you look here at cave A, north right here leads to cave B, east leads to cave D, south leads to cave C, and west, as you can see here, is null. It doesn't lead anywhere. So this is what I'm going to program here, and we're going to use VB.net. We can use anything to do this, but we're going to use VB.net for this one. So I'm going to go ahead and close that down, and right now I have WPF open, and I already have the interface that I want set up. So I'm going to go ahead and paste that XAML in there, and as you can see here, I have a button called BTN West, BTN North, BTN East, and BTN South. The second thing I have is this LBL data label in here. So when I go east, north, west, or south, it'll go ahead and add it in there. And basically, I get all these tools from here. All my buttons and everything is from here. And I just throw it on there and I make sure I name everything. So the first thing I'm going to do is go ahead and create a cave object, right? So I know I'm going to need caves, so I might as well just start off by creating a cave object. So I'm going to go over here into my code, my project. I'm going to right click. I'm going to go to add, and I'm going to go down here to class, and I'm going to name that class cave. So I name it cave and I hit add. Now I have this cave object here. And basically, the cave is going to require a door. I'm going to need to have a title. And the action, I want a cave to be able to add a cave. And I'm also going to want it to be able to have a door, an entrance door. So let me go ahead and start that off. The first thing is going to be a door. And that's going to be a dictionary because it's going to have multiple doors. It's going to have north, east, south, and west. So I want to make that a dictionary so I can access them based off of their location. So I'm going to do public door. And because it's public, I'm making sure I capitalize that. I'm doing plural because it's going to be a dictionary. And the way I do a dictionary is I do dictionary of, and it's going to be of strings. And also, what I want to store in this dictionary, when I call west, I want it to return a cave. So if I were to put in west, it'll return the cave that actually leads to the west. That's why I'm doing that. So it's a dictionary of directions and a dictionary of caves. So the index is of strings. The index is of the direction. And the value of that direction will lead me to the cave. That's what that dictionary says there. So here I'm going to have a public title. Every cave will have a title. And that's going to be a string. And I'm going to also want to, every time I create a cave, I want to enforce the fact that I need a title. So I will do sub new. And inside of the arguments here inside of the constructor, I'm going to put that I want there to be a title accept it there. And that's going to be as a string. All right, so when I first start off my cave, I'm going to need that title, and that title is going to be as a string. Now, the second thing I want to do is go ahead and set that title that's put in there. I want to set that title to the title up here. So this title and this title is different. But the way I'm going to address this title is I'm going to use a special keyword that references this cave right here that I'm in, and that's going to be me.title. That's how I'm telling it that I'm referencing this title based off of this cave, me.title, and I'm going to say that this title will go in there. So when I first started off, that's what's going to happen. Now I'm going to go ahead and instantiate my my doors. So I'm going to say doors equal new dictionary. And the reason why I knew that because I already had that dictionary up there, and it remembered that I was doing that with doors. And now I'm going to go ahead and create my doors dot add, and I'm going to add my north door, and I'm going to put nothing here, and that's the same as putting null. And I'm going to do the same thing with the south, east, and west doors. So now when I first start my cave, I put in the title. I make sure that that title goes up here. And then I go ahead and set my dictionary to where I have a north, east, south, and west portion of my dictionary. But I put nothing in here because I don't have the caves yet. So I want to be able to add a cave to a cave whenever I feel like it. So I didn't want to go ahead and put permanent caves there. Now, the next thing I'm going to need is the ability to add caves. So this right here, and I actually already have this typed out in my text editor. I'll put that here. So now I'm going to allow it to add caves, and basically this current door, and then I have this linked to a cave. So linked to a cave will be, I'm going to bring in a cave here when I add a cave. I'm going to add the cave that this current cave is linked to, and I'm going to add the door in which links to that cave. So here I say if link to cave is nothing, then return. Because if you don't put anything for this, then I want you to return. I don't want you to execute that. But if there is something there, I want you to go ahead and add that to doors.item. And I want you to add this door. And this door, let's say if this was north, is going to add this cave to this north door. So that's how this works. And the dot item is part of the dictionary class where you're saying, this is almost like me doing something like this. Hold on. So I want to add this cave to the west door. Basically, that's what that's saying there. That's how that's going to operate. And then finally, what I want to be able to do is enter a door. So every cave should have a door that I can enter. So I'm going to create an action called enter door. And then what you will do is you will put the name of the door there, like west, north, east, south. And it will go up in here and it will return a cave that you entered right there. It'll return it. So it's the opposite of this where I'm using the door location to now return the cave based off of the index of the dictionary. So that's pretty good for my cave. I'm done with that. Now what I want to be able to do is go ahead and create I'm going to go and create a navigation because I'm going to have to navigate all of this. So I'm going to go here. I'm going to right click and go new class. And I'm going to call that navigation. There we go. So the first thing I'm going to need in this navigation, I already have this written down, so I'm going to go ahead and paste this here, and then I'll explain it. So here's my navigation class, and in my navigation class, I accept the previous cave, which is a cave. I accept the current cave, which is also a cave, and I have this private, which is a current status here. It's a private variable. So I need access to this current status, and the way I get access to it is through this public property here. So current status as string get, and I return, when I get the current status, I return the current status, and when I set the current status, I go ahead and set this value to the current status. So let me show you how this was created here, this current status, just in case you don't know. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove that, and I'm going to go ahead and create a public property for this. And the easiest way to do this is go private prop and hit tab twice. And what that will do is, what Visual Studio will do is automatically write out the getter and setter for you. And here you would just change the name of that. And what happens is, as you change the name of that, you'll notice it's changing the name wherever that is and wherever that's required. Same thing will go here. It'll change the name for that. So that's exactly how I made these private properties, although sometimes I end up typing them out just for practice. But if you don't need to practice, go ahead and use that little shortcut. The next thing I have here is in my navigation, I have the current cave. So I could throw a cave in here. And what it's going to do is going to set that cave to the current cave. Then it's going to add this right here to the status. It's going to take that cave, get the title, and say you are in that current cave. So current cave should be called actually get current cave. Get current cave or get cave title. That's what it should be called. So I'm going to rename this by hitting Control R. And then this should be called get current cave title. And actually, maybe it shouldn't be called get current cave. It should just be called show. Show current cave. Yeah, that's what it should be called. So I have that show current cave. And now what I want to be able to do is go use these inside of my main window. So I have this area for my button here. And basically what I want to be able to do is first create my caves. And I'm going to do that in the sub new. And I'm going to pause the video so I'm not wasting time typing, and then I'll start it up again. All right, so if you look here, what I basically did was I created a navigation, and then I created these caves, cave A, B, C, and D, according to my diagram. So I have cave A, B, C, and D, right? And then what I did was I took those caves and I added those caves. Let's say like cave A, I added inside the add cave, I added north cave B, because when we look here, cave A north leads to cave B. So here, as you can see, I have my cave A, and I added north. The north door leads to cave B. And in cave A, my south door, right here, south door leads to cave C. And in my cave A, my east door, right here, leads to cave D, as we can see there. And basically I did that for each one of the caves. Then what I did was, when my application first starts, I want my navigation to show current cave. When we go to navigation, we have this show current cave here. It takes in a cave, and then it tells me the title of that cave, basically. Then I added into my content that that status, the current cave status. So here in my current cave, show current cave is here, but actually I'm setting the current cave. Let me check that out really quick. Show current cave sets the current cave. So I'm not really showing it here, I'm just setting it. So I'm going to rename this, and what I want you to do is look at this right here. This part right here says show current cave. Now watch what happens when I rename it. I'm going to refactor this. I'm highlighting that. I'm double clicking it. I'm going to hit RR, and then I'm going to put here, instead of show, I'm going to put set, and then hit enter. Now watch what happens over here. You'll notice that it changed the set. And that's why you want to use those refactoring techniques. When you rename anything, you double click it, hit Control RR, and then you can go ahead and rename it that way. So after I do that, now I'm going to take my navigation and I'm going to get the current cave from there and put it into that label. So that makes more sense. Control S there. And now all I need to do is add the connections to my buttons. So when I click on a button, then I'll navigate through these caves. I'm going to go ahead and pause video and type that out. Okay, so I'm back, and basically I don't have it typed out now, but I have it saved. When I go back to my main window, I'm just going to double click on north, and you'll see that's how I'm typing. I'm getting these buttons here. Okay, so I create my buttons, I name my buttons, and then I double click on them, and it automatically writes this part back here for me. Or you can just memorize it and write it. So that's how I got these here. Okay. The second part here is just me taking that label.content equals my nav.move. And so when you look at my nav here, and I'm going to push this to the side. I have a move function here. And basically it takes a direction. And then it sets the current cave to the previous cave. Then it takes the current door enter, current.enter door, and then it sets that as the current door or the current cave. Then I say if the current is nothing, meaning if this is null, if whatever you put up in there is nothing, and remember when I go west it is nothing there, then the current status will be door is locked and cannot open. So then I'm going to say go back to take the previous cave and go back to the current cave. Because before here, I'm going through the door and I'm taking the previous cave and I'm making the current cave. But if there's nothing there, switch it back to the way it was, is basically what that says. But if it is not nothing, then go ahead and set the current cave title to the current status. Okay, so that's all that does. That's what the move does. And basically what this is going to do, after it's all done, it's going to return this entire navigation, my current navigation. That's why it says return me. And what me is returning as a navigation. So over here when I look, I have, and the reason why I did this return as navigation is because I want to be able to do something like this. Nav.move north. So north goes into here. Then I want to get the current status from there. So that's why I return a north, so I can get the current status from this north version here. Now, you could have done something like this also. I could have done something like this. Nav.north. And then I could have done nav.current status. This does the exact same thing. And maybe it's more readable to you. If it is, you can go ahead and do this. And you don't have to worry about this return.me. But I wanted it all in one line. So that's why what I did was I returned the navigation so that way I can do this secondary dot notation on this function or that function itself. So now all that is done. And let's see how this works. So I'm going to hit F5. I'm going to run this. So I'm starting off in cave A. As we can see, I'm starting off in cave A. So if I go east, I should be in cave D. There it is. You are in cave D. So from here, if I go south, I should be in cave C. Yes. And if I go north, I should be in cave B. Good. And then I'm going to go back to cave A by going west. And then going south, I go to cave C. So now I'm going to go south again and see what happens. Door is locked and cannot open. So every time I go to a null door, it can't open. So I'm going to go north then. So I should be in cave B. Perfect. The layout that I have in my diagram works exactly as the same layout I have in my code. And this is why you want to be able to draw out your layout and point out where things are going to go, map out everything, you know, and write out the parameters, and then go to the code and make sure the code follows your map and follows whatever you were doing. So there we have it. We have ourselves a little simple cave game. We can add some more attributes to this game, more classes to this game. For right now, we have a simple cave game, and later on we're going to advance it and add some characters and maybe some AI and stuff like that to it. But for right now, we are all set up. If you guys have any questions, go ahead and leave them in the comment section below. Any suggestions also you can leave down there. And I'll see you guys next time.